Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to make an update slash build guide to my life stacking Burning Arrow of Vigour Ignite Elementalist. So I started this build like 3 days ago, and I currently have a playtime of 1 day, 22 hours. So yeah, I play a lot, right? And we killed about 500,000 monsters while doing my daily budget strand kind of like strat, and today I want to make like a final update on the build since I did do some changes, and I want to make a separate video that is then for tomorrow, which is an aspirational build guide, which goes over my high-end PUB, which basically, yeah, if you say this version is around about 100 divines investment, and the aspirational one is, you know, sky's the limit, kind of like 3-4 mirrors. If you say, hey, I want to make this build to the ultimate extreme, then that video is going to be for you. So feel free to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. This one here is my current version, still with the Chaos, with the Polaric Devastation. I have done some changes to it, namely a Curse on Hit Ring. I've added the Supreme Vision over here. I added a very nice Thread of Hope over here, granting me Ash, Frost, and Storm, with Constitution, Heart of Winter, and some maximum resistance. I got a new Megalomaniac, now with Born of Chaos, Enduring Compose, and Fan the Flames, and the rest is pretty much the same. I also got Ailment Immunity now based on the Storm Shroud, and 1 chance to avoid being shocked, and the life cluster over here, which also grants me 20% chance to avoid elemental ailments. But before we go into the detail how I built everything up, I'm gonna do something different today. I'm just gonna take any random T17 map. I have not done any T17s or Uber bosses with this current version yet, but I'm very confident to just go at it and just do it like I did last league with kind of a similar budget. But last season I've done all the T17s, all the Ubers, and I'm very, very confident that this build will be able to do it. Another thing that I want to mention, if we open the PUB, we are already Ignite capped, okay? Even though you can get a lot more. So we're currently on like 35, 37, whatever million DPS with this current version. So let's go jump right into the action. I hope I don't have any like complete troll Fizz Reflection do anything, because we are playing a fire-based version. You shouldn't be that hard, honestly, based on what I see. So let's close this one. So I guess we just... nice. That's what you like to see. That is absolutely what you like to see. Proximity shields for an Ignite build. That kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna, like, try to cheese anything. I'm just gonna go... I think it's a bit too loud here. Let me actually put down my sound a little bit. I'm gonna do the map as I would do it, right? I just hate the fact there's proximity shields, man. Proximity shield sucks, because you always have to go in melee range, but hey, we do have like 17 or almost 17,000 lives, so that shouldn't be an issue. We're also gonna do altars, because why the fuck not? Extra fusing orbs. Fusing orbs, even. So, What can I explain while we're doing this thing? So, basically, there is still like 3 different versions that I think you could play on this one. Which one would be the Apostate with energy shield stacking stuff. One would be the Chaos Heart, that's the version that I'm playing. But I do think that this build has so freaking much damage in late game that I'm actually thinking of replacing the Chaos Heart for another 6-link, just to have an easier time... what do you say, getting spell suppression cap, because this build at the moment is not spell suppression cap, but I do value spell suppression quite high, and if we end up having like, I don't know, like 50 million DPS, 50, not 15, while being like omega tanky, then this is a route that I would definitely would strive for. So let's see if we can actually find this weird boss, because, you know, mapping clearing is one thing, but the boss is another thing, and I think if a character is T17 viable or claims to be T17 viable, it should definitely do the boss as well. And I'm actually curious on how much damage I'm doing, right? I was fighting a bunch of like T16 100% daily bosses with my strat. Just click any altars, man. I'm gonna so rip it. Okay, here's the boss. This time around, I'm actually gonna do a gem swap just because I'm running a GMP on this kind of like clearing version, right? So what I'm gonna do is just swap out the GMP for Swift Affliction. Deadly Ailments GMP, because GMP doesn't add anything, right? So let's see how that goes. Just gonna load this one up, 8 stages, forward, and then... Oh, it's accompanied by a Synthesis Boss, I guess. Just load it up, Frostblink forward, and then... see. Oh, okay, that was awkward. I was actually focused on the synthesized monster. But I think the synthesized monster is already dead from, like, one good snipe. Where's the boss? There it is. Loading up the snipes. Dash forward. I think that is the phase transition. Let's try to quickly finish off that guy. Snipe versus snipe. But I guess my snipe is stronger. But as you see, damage is actually really good. So we load this one up. 8 stages. Release the arrow. 8 stages. Yo, the damage is insane. Okay, that was pretty much, yeah. I wouldn't say a one-shot, but I guess, like, one snipe was enough to actually kill off the boss. So as you see, it's like the damage of snipe is just absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. So, let's kill a couple more monsters, because I think, like, the rest of the map, you guys can see that this shouldn't be any big of a deal, right? And there is even versions if you say, hey man, I just don't like snipe. I mean, if you get a lot of attack speed, which I'm basically doing, I even got like, what is it called, action speed on my boots. You just want to have a very fast attack speed so you don't really channel a lot, right? You want to tap it as, would it be a non-snipe build? This is kind of like the goal of the build, right? Because I don't really care about a build that doesn't feel good. It can have the most DPS, the tankiest version, whatever, but if I feel like it's not fun to play or it's just not quality of life enough for me, then I just don't care. I'd rather have lower DPS, lower survivability, but a character that just feels good, and that's why stacking attack speed doesn't increase your ignite DPS, but it just increases your overall feels good thing of the build, right? But if you would go out of your way and play a non-Chaos build, then you would have a separate 6-link, where you could say make a clearing non-snipe version for clearing, and then one dedicated single target snipe, basically, right? We're gonna do this expedition. Just go ahead and clear the monsters, I guess. There is another breach. I think this is still my Dali Strand breach strategy. And because I know I'm gonna get this question anyways, yo, why is your breach white? This is an MTX ring, which basically colors your... What is it? Your breaches. Get some nice snipes off. As I said, the longer you channel, the more damage you're dealing. Dude, where's my FPS going? Hello? And honestly, this Dissolution of Flesh Reservation, it's not that bad, honestly. It's... With later gear, with evasion, spell suppression, and like evasion especially, right? You're not gonna get hit that often, and as soon as you're not taking damage for a second, you're basically on full life instantly. You don't really care about too much what your HP, your number says, right? Because if I would say I have 500 life, and I just unreserved my life, oh, now I got random arrows from the shrine. Okay, this is where I stopped the map showcase because I CBA'd shit. So basically, with Dissolution of the Flesh, as soon as you get damage, basically you reserve life. You're not taking damage, right? So let's assume you get hit quite hard and you go down to like 2,000 life. Then you are out of combat for 2 seconds. The reservation gets removed. You're instantly on full life, even though you still have 2k life. So even if there is like a no region map, you don't care about that. Because as soon as you get damage, yes, you only have 2k life, but you start reserving your life again, right? So this is basically the kind of like nice thing about it, and obviously giving you 30% more life. So about the build. So wait, is this perfectly rolled? Oh, it's perfectly rolled. Is this worth something? The divine, UE trait, 3 divines. Nice. I think that was worth it, the map. So basically it starts off with the Burning Arrow of Vigour. That's a transfigured gem that says deals added fire damage equal to 25% of your maximum life, and 100% fist convert to fire. This is natural for Burning Arrow. So this basically means we don't need any damage on our weapon. We just purely get the flat damage for this skill out of life stacking. And with Snipe, this is like the kind of like insane thing. You deal 82% more damage with ailments per Snipe stage, right? And if we have with the Ashes of the Stars, we have 8 stages, right? So that's 82 times 8 is 650% more damage. And this is the good thing about it, as I said before, if you play this with a lot of attack speed, for example, attack speed on a quiver, with a Widow Hail, with action speed, and so on and so forth, and frenzy charges, you're channeling that quite fast. So basically you're just holding it down for a split second and you're having like a 1-stage snipe for your clearing, right? And if you need on demand, you hold the thing down, 650% more damage, ignite cap, and you saw how crazy fast bosses here die. Good. Let's talk about the other things that are basically on the skill tree. So my skill tree looks a bit weird, but main reason here is we need a lot of like life masteries. We want to get all 6 life masteries so we get the 10% more maximum life if you have at least 6 life masteries. So you could go on the right side here, but I decided to go on the bottom side because we need a lot of strength and we need a lot of dexterity for our gems. So basically that one is the easiest way, and all we do is taking all the life nodes on the way. And on this version I even opted in the Enduring Composure for endurance charges. Another thing that you could do if you don't want to wait until you get hit, you basically buy a level 1 Forbidden Rite and you use it one time, it is a hit, and then your enduring charges are starting to stacking up. You could probably automate that at some point. So then we have 4 times a large cluster jewel with Prismatic Heart, Disorienting Display, and Sadist. This build is getting like all the value out of Sadist since we are in Elementalist. We are igniting, we are shocking, that's 100% guaranteed, and we do need some cold damage to apply a chill. And we don't care if it's a 1% chill or a 10% chill, all we want to have is the chill, because then for 4 seconds we have a total of 60% increased damage times 4, since we run 4 times the Sadist node. And the Prismatic Heart also helps with the increased ally damage and the all resistance. Other than that, let's take a look at the jewels in specific. I'm running this with an Adorned setup, and I know a lot of people are scared of that. Adorned is not the cheapest thing to do, but I still think it's the best. At the moment, I think I'm only running 5 magic jewels while running, I don't know, let me quickly check in PUB how many jewels. I'm using a lot of jewels, right? But there is only like 5 magic jewels and 1 abyss jewel, so the less magic jewels you play, the less value the Adorned has. So you can definitely play this without and still have like a very good feeling or experience, right? Why is this so good? Just because with rare jewels you could even get more damage. You get a max life fire dot multi damaging faster ailments or something, and that would actually be more damage. But the thing is, you don't get the double life roll, which the Adorned gives me like 13% maximum life per jewel. And since it's a life stacker, I still value this quite high. Then we have a Watcher's Eye with Unaffected by Bleeding. So this is a thing that I want to put into the category of the Dissolution of Flesh gameplay. As I say, Dissolution of Flesh, you just don't want to have any kind of dots on you, right? I'm gonna show you guys what happens if you get in a Blood Rage, for example. Let's just put this one here. Get a Blood Rage. So as soon as I take damage, whether it's Blood Rage, whether it's dot, my life is just just stacking up, right? And this is very problematic because with Dissolution of Flesh, you need 2 seconds to not get any damage to stop reserving life. So as you see, when you have a dot on you, you never have that scenario where you actually get no damage. So you want to make sure to be immune to as many dots as possible. And the way we're going to do this, what are the dots basically? There is like Ignite, there is Bleed, there is Corrupted Blood, there is Poison, there is even like ground effects can be terrible. For example, Desecrated Ground. These are like these small patches where you get chaos damage. This is a damage over time and basically starts reserving your life, even though it doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it stops you from resetting that, right? So you want to get immune to Bleeding and immune to Poison and Corrupted Blood as the first stage. I got here Polaric Devastation with Cannot Be Poisoned, and I was using a Barracks Respite Ring with Cannot Be Bleeding, or Cannot Bleeding Cannot Be Inflicted to You, but I swapped to a Malevolence Watcher's Eye that basically gives you Unaffected by Bleeding. You can also take this with Poison or things like that, right? So you just want to make sure to remove that kind of source. And then for Corrupted Blood, either you get a Corrupted Blood Jewel like I have over here, just a regular Corrupted Blood Jewel, or what else you can do is get this like 4 points over here with the Asylum, which gives you like a lot of Chaos Resistance, but the Mastery says Corrupted Blood Immunity, right? Then for Ignite, Ailment Immunity. Best thing ever, I solved this with a Storm Shroud, chance to avoid being shocked, and this cluster over here with 20% chance to avoid elemental ailments. So all these like Brittle, Sap, Scorch, Freeze, Shock, Ignite, whatever, Shocked Ground things just don't happen, right? Burning Ground, on the other hand, we have the Soul of Aberrath upgraded unaffected by Burning Ground, so you still are on Burning Ground, but you're not taking any damage. The same with like this Watcher's Eye, it says you're not immune to bleeding, but bleeding unaffected. So you are bleeding if you get a bleed, but it just doesn't deal any damage, you're not reserving life. This is very important. As long as you don't fix those steps, I would recommend not to use Dissolution of Flesh. Good, let's move on to the next. This one here is nice to have, but not necessary, because you get like 2 max res, which is like the good thing about it. But if you unspec this and save this like 1, 2, 3, 4 points and just put them in like 4 times 6% life modifiers is 24% increased life, you're basically having the same life and like a little bit less damage. But for the investment, this is just like end game kind of stuff where you get the max res and you get the Ash, Frost, and Storm, because the increased effect of non-damaging ailments also affect your shocks and therefore you deal more damage. Then here on the Megalomaniac, it is basically what I wanted to have is Fan the Flames. You can get this on your gloves, because I'm pretty sure as soon as this video is live, you will never see any Enduring Composure Fan the Flames Megalomaniac anymore. I bought this one for 1 Divine, which is, in my opinion, a steal for my build, but who else uses that besides my build, right? So instead, I would just get anything with Enduring Composure, and then you just get, instead of the 8 fire dot multi, which is like the lowest roll over here, right? You just get your Ignite Proliferation, and that's it. Don't be stupid and spend 50 to 100 Divines or whatever people are asking for just because they've seen this video. Oh, MBX is playing that, so all of my items are 10 times worth more. Good, then we have here the Dissolution of Flesh. We talked about that quite often. But the thing is here, you want to play this with Eternal Youth, because Energy Shield Recharge instead applies to life. What does Energy Shield Recharge do? As soon as you don't get damage for a certain amount of time, you're just recharging your Energy Shield, which is like 4 times, or I don't know, like 25% of your ES per sec. I don't know how much the value is, but it's like a lot better than Life Regen, basically. And since we never get damage with Dissolution of Flesh, we are reserving life. This is not taking damage. So that means as soon as the 2 seconds are over, we instantly, like, our recharge here is permanently active because we never get damage. Then here on the side things, these are just like Adorned Jewels. Here, Adorned Jewels, this is like some all-res. So basically that covers all my jewel and passive tree setup. Let's go over the gearing aspect. This is like my, it's hard to say budget version, but you can spend so much more currency and there is so much more potential, but I'm just talking about the items that I have, right? I think Devotee's Devotion is very nice. It has attack speed, very good for snipe. It has dexterity, very good for our high-level dexterity gems. We have Chaos Res, and we have movement speed. The only helmet, I think, in the game that has movement speed. That's why the character is so fast without even a Quicksilver Flask, right? Then Widow Hail, your main damage comes from your bow. Before you spend 20-30 Divines on an Adorn, please make sure to buy a good bow, because this is what gives you a shit ton of damage. Because based on your roll, we're going to calculate now with 250%, just because it's easier. For example, the life roll. We have 144 life on my quiver based on the new T1 rolls, right? We get, let's say, 250% increased bonus from the Widow Hail. That means it's a 3.5 multiplier. 2.5 from the Widow Hail and 1.0 from the quiver itself, so times 3.5. So this quiver alone gives me 500 flat life, you know, and it gives me also 35% increased movement speed, you know, and you know, damage over time multiplier, we're talking about 47 times 3.5, 164% damage over time multiplier. This thing is insane, especially with the attack speed. We're talking about I'm 3.5. 77% increased attack speed makes it really, really good to channel up those fast snipes. Then Ashes of the Stars is a kind of a no-brainer nowadays for me. I used to play this with the Untouched Soul Amulet, where you keep like empty red sockets for flat life. But this thing gives you 30% quality on your gems, right? On your skill gems. The thing though is, With Burning Arrow of Vigour, 30% is 30% more damage with Ignite, and it gives you one extra stage. So that's basically 30% more damage on this and 82% more damage on your snipe, giving you an extra stage, making it like completely ridiculous on that part, right? Then Polaric Devastation for cover enemies in Ash, which is basically your enemies take 20% increased fire damage or something, which is a more multiplier on top. Then Chaos Heart, super budget, like 10C or whatever that costs, and gives you a total of like 4,500 life with my current values. Then a Barracks Respite, if you can, or if you have that, or any curse on hit ring, because we run a 3-link Arcanist brand with Ele Weakness and Flame Surge, so we have Ele Weakness and Flammability. If you don't have a Flammability ring, then put away this like Frostblink, put it in somewhere else, and get like Arcanist brand, Ele Weakness, Flammability, and Flame Surge. And we get the extra curse thanks to our Sublime Vision for Malevolence. You can apply an additional curse while affected by Malevolence. And since we don't run any auras other than Malevolence, we're super fine. We save the Whispers of Doom anointment. And you want to have like dot multi essence crafted this, life, res, whatever you need. Then Diet Dawn is like one of the best belts you can get for this build. It ignites you and inflict with attack skills, deal 40% faster or 42% if it's a max roll with Catalyst. And that's just insane amounts of damage, some resistance, some life. And you want to maybe get this with like all res, Aura Starved on resistance a little bit, or you get like increased max life or Malevolence aura effect. And for the boots, life, resistance, movement speed, the classic budget boots. And that's why I say my gear is overall pretty budget, besides like I don't know how much the large class is going on, like 5 divines a piece is what I paid for, and Adorn, the magic jewel. It sums up, but there is so many components, but there is no item where you would say, oh, that is like 100 divines, that is 150, like a mage blood, a headhunter or something like that. Good. Flask-wise, Oriot's End, best in slot flask. The explosions are just way too good to pass on. Like, I would definitely play this with an explosive flask. If you don't have the currency for it, then play with the Barracks Respite. You want to have some form of ignite proliferation. And I want to stress it out again because so many people get this wrong. There is 2 different versions of ignite proliferation. One is the circle that appears below the corpses, which is the ignite proliferation from Fan the Flames or your implicit here. And there is another one, which is either the new weapon enchant for whatever it is, I think like on swords or something, the Aberrate's Hooves and the Barracks Respite. This literally like transfers your ignite onto another enemy so they burn down, and leaving the other ignite proliferation on the floor. There's 2 different ones, okay? Then Ethereal's Promise, Eli's extra chaos and some chaos leech. The leech doesn't do anything, the region doesn't do anything with the dissolution of flesh. Then increased armor flask, increased evasion, and increased movement speed on the silver flask. Gem setup, burning arrow, snipe, GMP, deadly ailments, burning damage, and unbound ailments. Here another point, burning arrow gets another 1% extra damage if it hits level 23. So I get 21 from my gem, plus 1 from the Ash of the Stars, and plus 1 of fire skill gems from the awakened burning damage. There is another thing that you can do, which I was tinkering about. If I would get more projectiles, you just lose another support gem, which is basically Aeronova support. So if I would say GMP and Aeronova support, you basically have like this kind of like EK playstyle where your arrows are just flying all around, right? And if you would get a Widow Hail with +1 arrow, or a Quiver Corruption with +1 arrow, with the Awakened Aeronova is like 5 additional projectiles, Awakened GMP would be an additional projectiles, then you have like a fuck ton of projectiles, and all you would need to do is basically just run forward and yeah, press your Aeronova supports, and then you ignite proliferation and stuff like that will kill off pretty much everything else. Then I have cast damage taken, Immortal Call, and Malevolence with Eternal Blessing, so it doesn't reserve any aura, and it's a permanent aura. Then I have my Arcanist brand, Ele Weakness, Flame Surge, and Frostblink. Flame Surge, very important. The Burning Ground does deal a lot of damage, okay? Then we have Frenzy, Mirage Archer, GMP, and Combustion support. So when you ignite something and you have Combustion support, the enemy takes has -10 fire resistance, which is a lot of damage, but you don't really want to fit it into your main gems, and your Flame Surge cannot use Combustion, otherwise I would link it to it. But the thing is, you're having so much attack speed. So if you're channeling up, you have a big snipe, boom, and then you can basically just hammer on a couple frenzy, gain your frenzy charges, gain your Mirage Archer to proc, and the Mirage Archer will then basically, or the frenzy, ignite the enemy -10 resistance, which basically counts for your snipe as well. Good, we went over the gear, the gems, the skill tree, the mechanics. I don't know what else there is to say besides maybe the MTX if somebody's wondering. I'm running the Shackled Immortal Helm, the Pitch Black Bandana, Fiery Eyes, Dragon Hunter Bow and Quiver. We have the Exile's Pilfering Ring that counts your currency, Incinerator Weapon Effect, the Ritual Breach Ring for the white breaches, the Infernal Crystalline Charges, Burning Torturer Gloves, Kitava Boots, and the Demonic Ghoul Character Effect. Disabled all the Flask, Demonic Stygian Portal Effect, the Esomite Cursor, Zealot's Penance Portrait Frame, and other than that, I don't think I run any skill MTX on Burning Arrow of Vigour, but basically all the auras disabled, all the flasks disabled, because I don't really care too much about it. Good, I hope I covered everything. We had a map showcase, I think PUB's in the description below. I hope you enjoy this build as much as I do, and tomorrow I will upload the aspirational thing. What if I would have 5 mirrors and I would rebuild this character? What items would I change? What items would I craft? And how to get it to the next stage to do like approximately 100 million Ignite DPS, which is Ignite capped against Uber bosses. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.